Hey everybody, it's Keith with Bob CNC. As always, here with my best friend Robert.
And I'm here with my best friend Keith.
And we're here for Shop Talk.
It was old, but we don't talk about it.
No, it hurts my feelings.
Okay, sorry.
We're going to talk about, somebody had a question.
Oh.
Oh, it had to do with the
Told
new
you it was old. Did you see that? It
yeah,
was like
well, it was
nothing and then
Bob,
blip.
okay,
sorry, go ahead.
I forgot.
Okay, yeah. We had a customer that had a question.
Yeah, you did.
What's the question?
Or it could have been her. I forget.
Okay.
It had to do with the Revolution,
Yeah.
the new machine we put out.
Okay.
And the question was, well, how is it any different than a lathe?
Oh.
And I've worked with lathes.
They both go round.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
A lathe goes around a lot faster.
Yeah, it does faster, but I guess, I don't think we could make our A-axis go that fast.
I don't think you'd want to.
But if you made the lathe go a lot slower, it would still be the same, right? So
No.
yeah.
No, because you can't cut. You have to have the speed on the spindle.
Well, that's a good point.
To
Yeah.
cut. So rather than have that,
yeah.
we put it in the bit.
Yeah. So the energy is in the router bit spinning instead of the workpiece
That's what I was
spinning.
going to say.
Yeah, I knew you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what's the
Probably
difference?
want to do that energy equation later.
Yes. Yeah. I'll work on that in the office.
Well, I mean, I guess you picked out one of the major differences is
Yeah.
one of them has the energy that the wood is spinning, so that's
Right.
how you can cut. The other one's in the router bit. But on the lathe, and maybe this is just to try to make it really simple, but let's say that you started off with a round cylinder and you wanted to make it square.
You
You
can't.
can't really do that, right?
No.
Because as you can only really do a profile shape.
Right.
It's got to be all the way around because it's spinning so fast, right? Now, I suppose if you were really good, you could,
No,
with your
you couldn't.
bit and write
No.
your name.
What?
We have to
You
try
know
that.
what? Some guys
Yeah,
send
that's right,
us
yeah,
a thing.
yeah, I
what
do
he
that.
did.
You don't
and
need
I'm-
no seeds.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, or you have talent, yeah. But with a rotating axis like the Revolution,
Right.
right, it actually is rotating slow, and then you're just carving on it.
Well, it's
right?
not only, it's not like it's a continual rotation.
Right.
It rotates for the sake of that, what needs to be cut.
Right.
And will either rotate back or farther depending on the G code.
Right.
So what you're talking about is like John,
Mm-hmm.
made some, he's making an oversized chess piece.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's got he's doing a pawn. And
Uh-huh.
if you were doing these, you could certainly cut them out on a lathe, but you're going to have an absolutely round surface.
Right.
And he has facets cut in.
Facets. I can't
Facets.
spell that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Cut into the
always
wood.
picks words I can't spell. Have you ever noticed that?
The.
Hey.
So anyway,
That hurt.
what were you? Yeah, well, you could have
Okay.
listened when you were a kid,
Yeah,
but you didn't.
yeah,
and
you're
you
right.
still don't.
Hey, I can say the in French. La. I can spell that one too.
Is
Anyway.
that it masculine or feminine? Okay, you don't know what you're talking about.
You're right.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't. Anyway, so for the Revolution,
Yes.
the big thing is that you could actually carve an object that's not a profile. As a matter of fact, we have customers that have made, an eagle, a buffalo, a lamp shade that was in the shape of a lighthouse, Yoda, some faces, some skulls. Yeah, all of those things would be impossible to make on a lathe, but are pretty easy to make. On
So
a Revolution.
it's sculpting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Now there's some I heard it said somewhere that it's a two-sided machine. You can do two-sided machining, which is true, but it's much more than that. You can do index machining, so it's not just this side and the other side. You could rotate it by half a degree and do the carve again, half a degree, do the carve again. So
Right.
it's really, you have to understand that the bit is always going to be on the center line. And if you can make your project with a bit on the center line, then you can do it with a rotating axis.
So let's say that you Google rotating axis, or you go to Amazon, you're
Yeah.
looking at rotating axis, and you're going to see tools that are bolted on the bed of another machine.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how's that different than the Revolution?
It's not different at all, except for it's not connected. So if
What do
you
you
have an Evolution, or a KL7 series and you buy a headstock and a tailstock and you bolt it to the table, you have one problem, which is you don't have an extra axis on gerbil firmware at this time, although we're working on that. So you would have to take off your Y-axis or unplug it and lock it in position with a clamp or something, right? And then you could use that connection, and then you would have to change the firmware, right? Or understand that Y is now in degrees instead of millimeters or inches. You could plug that in, and you could have your rotating axis along the X or the Y. It depends on how you wanted to do it. I am working on an ESP2 controller or ESP32 controller that will allow us to do 6-axis, and you can get that today if you just go out there and look at gerbil 32 ESP. There's people that are doing it, and you can set your own up. But you know, we're trying to make it to where it's part of our machine eventually one day. So for now, rotating axis has to be on the center line. If you have a 4th axis,
Okay,
leave your Y connected.
I know what it means.
Yeah, okay.
But what does it mean? I mean, it's got to be on the center line. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I don't know how to explain that the easy way. If it's always on the center line, that means that you don't have a Y-axis that can get off the center line.
We're not
and go over
talking
here.
center from right to left necessarily, like on a flat plane, but rather you're talking about through the
Through the center of the cylinder.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, on a lathe, if you keep carving until you got just a teeny bit left,
that would be
that's the center line. Yeah.
Okay.
How's that?
Down to nothing.
Okay.
Like a thread.
Yeah.
Right. Is that it?
I'm okay
You
with
don't
that.
got nothing else to say?
Well, not anymore.
Well, good. I'm glad.
All right.
So, till next time, guys.
Bye.
See ya.